Welcome. Today I want to talk about something that goes to the very heart of how we live, the idea of life as an offering. It's not just a poetic phrase or a lofty ideal. It's a profound way of being that's as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago when the Bhagavad Gita was written. The Gita is an ancient spiritual text from India, set on a battlefield where a warrior, Arjuna, is paralyzed by doubt and fear. He faces the ultimate question: how can I act in a world so full of complexity, pain, and responsibility? His guide, Krishna, offers wisdom that goes beyond the battlefield, wisdom that speaks to every one of us. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does a story from an ancient battlefield have to do with my life? But stay with me. This isn't just about war or duty. It's about how we approach every action, every choice, and every moment in our lives. Krishna tells Arjuna something radical. All actions bind, except those done as an offering to the whole. What does that mean? Let's pause here. Think about your day so far. Maybe you've already checked your email, made breakfast, or rushed out the door. These seem like ordinary acts, right? But notice the weight we attach to them. I have to do this. This is my task. I need to get this right. There's always this sense of my work, my success, my responsibility. And with that comes stress, fear, and sometimes even guilt. Krishna's teaching is simple. When you hold on to this sense of personal ownership, you bind yourself to the results. Success feels like yours. Failure feels like yours, and the burden becomes yours. But when you let go, when you see your actions not as yours, but as part of something larger, the weight lifts. Life becomes lighter, freer. Here's the shift Krishna is pointing to. Instead of seeing life as something you control, what if you saw it as something you participate in? What if every action, every thought, every moment was not about achieving or proving something, but about offering something, not to someone or something specific, but to life itself, to the whole of existence. This idea isn't about giving up on life. It's about giving back to life. Let's make it real. Imagine you're doing something as simple as washing the dishes. It's easy to think, I have to do this. But what if, instead, you saw it as an offering? Not just to keep your kitchen clean, but to the rhythm of life itself. Each plate cleaned, each movement of your hand, it becomes sacred. Not because it's grand, but because it's part of the flow. Krishna doesn't stop at action. He says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, do it as an offering to me. Now, when he says me, he doesn't mean himself as a person. He's pointing to something deeper, the infinite essence that pervades all of life. He's saying that everything, your thoughts, your joys, your struggles, can be seen as part of this offering. Think about that for a moment. What if even your difficulties could be offered? That time you doubted yourself, the mistakes you made, what if they weren't yours to carry? What if they too could be part of the flow of life? This isn't about escaping responsibility, it's about seeing responsibility differently. When we think of responsibility, we often feel alone, as if it's all on us. But Krishna shows Arjuna that this sense of separation is an illusion. In another verse, he says, the act of offering, the one who offers, the recipient of the offering, and the act itself, all are one. There's no separation between the doer, the deed, and the whole. Imagine the freedom in this. You're no longer a tiny self trying to manage a giant world. You're part of the movement itself. The tree doesn't worry about its role in the forest. The river doesn't cling to its water. They flow. They offer themselves fully to life, and life flows through them. What does this mean for you and me? It means we can stop gripping so tightly to the idea of my success or my failure. When you let go of that, life becomes easier. Not because the challenges disappear, but because the weight of separation does. You're no longer trying to carry the world, you're dancing with it. This is not about doing more or doing less. It's about how you do. When you answer an email, see it as an offering. When you have a tough conversation, see it as an offering. Even when you're stuck in traffic, notice the impatience arise and offer that too. Nothing is excluded. The Bhagavad Gita isn't asking us to abandon life. It's inviting us to see it as it truly is. It's saying what you call your life has never been separate from the whole. Your actions, your thoughts, even your identity, none of it stands apart. When you see this, something incredible happens. You're no longer burdened by the need to control or fix everything. You're no longer tied to the results of what you do. Let's bring this down to something relatable. Have you ever noticed how some of your best work happens when you're in the zone? Think of an athlete performing at their peak or an artist lost in the act of creating. In those moments, there's no worrying about outcomes, no thought of me doing this. There's just the action, flowing naturally. That's exactly what the Bhagavad Gita is pointing to. When you let go of personal ownership, when you stop trying to force or control, your actions become effortless and often far more effective. Modern psychology even has a name for this, the flow state. Studies show that people in flow perform better, feel more satisfied, and experience a deep sense of connection to the task. Why? Because they've stepped out of the way and let the action unfold without resistance. There's another modern insight that connects with this idea, the concept of self-transcendence. Research in positive psychology shows that when people shift their focus away from me and toward something greater, whether it's a community, a cause, or simply the joy of the present moment, they report greater well-being and resilience. For instance, acts of service like volunteering are consistently linked with increased happiness. But the benefit doesn't come from a sense of sacrifice. It comes from dissolving the separation between self and other. When you act as part of a larger whole, the pressure to succeed or fail as an individual fades. You're no longer the center of the universe, and that's a relief. You become free, not free from life, but free within it. Life itself becomes the offering. You are the offering. The dance, the rhythm, the flow, all of it is one. And when you live this way, every moment shines with the fullness of what it is. Not yours, not mine, just life, happening as it always has and always will.